All right, all right. What's going on, party people? What's going on, party people? I tell you, all into a new year, having some fun, doing our thing. All right. Well, check this out. All right. I got a. All right. I got a email. I mean, a reply from Miss Moon from Brooklyn. All right, and she asked, "Is it true that if a property doesn't close, you don't get paid?" Um, Simply put, it all boils down to this: what is that signing company or title company's business model with regards to that? When we do these closings, especially let's just say the signing company, okay? With the signing companies, there's a work agreement that they will present to you, and in that work agreement, it tells all of their terms and conditions of how they handle everything. It's a long legalese type of thing, and it says we'll do this way, we'll do that way, you do this, we do that, and if you abide by this, everything's good. This is how you deal with disputes, all of that, and in all of that is how they pay, what they pay for, if a closing doesn't close, what they do, if you make a trip fee, I mean if you make a trip and the doc and but the thing that gets canceled, when you can print, and when you can print is a killer, because if you got multiple signings and they want you and they tell you you can't print, they say don't print 2 hours before the closing because it might get canceled, and you print 4 hours before and then it cancels 3 hours before, they're gonna be like, we're not paying you because we told you don't print 2 hours, don't print no more than 2 hours before, and we'll pay your print fee if it cancels. But if you print before then, if your appointment's at 5, long as you print between 3 and 4:59, you good. If you print at 2 o'clock, that's 3 hours out. We're not paying you because we already informed you and we already put in our policies. It's our business model that we're not going to pay you if you print way ahead of time. So how can you not get paid for a closing? Yes, you can. Of course, if the reason for the closing is your fault, you didn't get on there on time, you didn't have the documents straight, or something you did, and you caused it not to close, true, you could not get paid. However, I know the question really is, if you've done everything correctly, will they still not pay you if it doesn't close? And again, that goes back to their business model and how they feel about you. If you've have a track record with them of doing great work, a lot of times they'll be like, okay, we're gonna pay you anyway, because they're gonna get that fee for sending you out anyhow to from the person who canceled, the signer, the borrower. But some companies, they're holding on tight to their money. They're like, if it don't close, you don't get paid no matter who fault it is. That's just the way it is. Now they might still get paid, but they ain't paying you. And you have to find that out. So you're taking a chance with some of these companies, and that can still be the same thing for a direct client. That if we because let's just say if the direct client doesn't get paid, if it doesn't close, that means should mean that the direct client doesn't get paid. And if they don't get paid, then that means you're not going to get paid. So you're saying, like the Grow Sisters, pay me. You know how the Grow Sisters were, the little baby would sit there with their hand out, pay me, but they ain't getting paid. Because if the company they deal with business model is nobody gets paid until it closes and there's no extra fees, and this is just part of doing business, then ain't nobody getting paid. So it all depends on how they roll. Um, I know a lot of notaries get upset. A lot of notaries, I've heard stories of notaries talking in these different Facebook groups, talking smack about you gonna pay me, you better pay me, and all of that. And I'll be honest, that's a dangerous position to take, um, for two reasons. One, they can just excommunicate you and say, okay, look, we ain't got time for this attitude. Okay, things happen. This is a part of the business. It's not like people are sitting up and say, okay, we're going to give you this order just so we can close it. I mean, so we can cancel it on you just to piss you off. That is not what people are doing. But people think that. So then you're copping an attitude like, oh, y'all clowns and canceling the order. No, you're going to pay me. I went and I showed up. I had on my red bottoms, this, that, and the other. They don't care about that. It got canceled. Hey, we're going to have you go for another one. We're going to give you a $25 print fee, trip fee, or whatever. $25. Nah, that ain't. And then they were like, okay, fine. You know what? We'll make it 50, bow out, and we'll get somebody else. And you can also make it bad for other notaries when you cop these attitudes. Okay. So that's why I say everybody talking about all this training. Whose course is the best? It don't really matter who course is the best, because if you can't keep your attitude in check, you're gonna make it bad for a lot of us, because you can be bragging about who you got trained by, and then you cop an attitude because they're giving you a $20 print fee, which is what you agreed to when you started working with them, but you didn't read that in the fine print because you didn't read the fine print. And now you bragging about, I went to this training, and then anybody else who went to that training, it makes them look bad. He's like, okay, well, this is how these people act who went to this training or trained to this person. We don't want to deal with them. This is a little bit of a side note from what the question is asking, but I need to point that out. Okay. So you should get paid, but some companies' business model is if you don't close, you don't get paid. Now, from that point, you have to decide what you're going to do. And then and really, before you start going off on them, you need to go back to your terms of agreement and ask, and look in there and read and say, okay, what does this says? Oh, right here it says I don't get paid. There's nothing to argue about. You read through, oh, I get paid $50. What does that argue about? It says it in the agreement that you didn't read, that now you're going to have to read after you didn't get paid. So it's up in the air, and it all depends on the company's business model. And I know y'all probably getting tired of me saying that, but I'm telling you, this is how it works. This is what business is about. They have ways that they do things, and there have been times where I'm going out and they've canceled, and I've had printed the documents and on my way, and it's like, nope, and I still didn't get I ain't even get a trip fee, so I make note of that. Okay, I remember that company. Gotcha. So next time you need something done it's 150. I get my money. You you want to pay me 100, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, you got to call up the dollars. So that's simply it. I hope I answered the question, but I know you probably may look for like yes or no. It all depends. It all depends on what side of the country you're on. Um, all of that. There's a lot of different factors on how that company may decide to pay you, who their client is. Their client be like, no, going to pay the notary. The notary didn't do anything. They canceled. The notary did everything right. So we can't punish you for what they did. Cool. Just make sure that the reason why it didn't close wasn't your fault. And I think you should be okay. All right. So thanks, party people. Y'all have a good one. Peace.